Bad life choices. Hey, y'all, I am segueing into our live YouTube episode as we welcome our guest. He's in the house with me. Hey, Jimmy, come here. I've got to segue away from that box idea. Have a seat, man. Y'all welcome Jimmy Talksalot to our YouTube live experience.
Hi.
Did I salutate the kindred spirits?
No.
I'm salutating you right now. What's up, buddy? How you doing? For those of you that don't know, you're going to know now, this is Jimmy Talksalot, one of, if not my best friends of my life. I think we surmised you are the best one.
Yeah, and how sad that was. Yes.
Until the next guy sitting with
yeah,
you.
Right. That could be a step up. That could be.
Nah, man. Maybe on like the 10th time you're on this experience, we'll tell some of the tales that led to you being the best of all friends, but I don't know any of us are ready for those tales.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. You'll be able to see the chat here. You say hello to Matthew Mosley and some of the fellas that we were just jamming with backstage. Ira was there as well. We were doing a little members jam, something I'll be doing on a regular basis moving forward before I do these live events. Hey, Scott, what's happening? We will be doing regular live Zoom sessions for channel members. We were hanging out. We were talking to Jimmy. We saw some great magic from Eric and Matthew, and Ira is always killing it, plus with the yo-yos.
Great.
So, so that's what's going to be happening moving forward. I got some other interesting news, and I'll talk about that later, but I do want to talk about Jimmy. First of all, what would this magic box have produced? What mysteries could this box possibly contain? Oh, look. It's books. Our guest today is an author. He's written To Lure with Spectacle in Our Mysterious Society, which is a street magician's manual. This man has spent most of his life doing so. The Elusive Hymn and Our Mysterious Craft. This is a dissertation on character development.
Yes, character development.
Character development. This is the old school version of this book, which maybe is preferable, I would say, for a study, for someone who wants to study it. This is maybe more user-friendly than the Perfect Bound.
These are out of print right now.
Not available.
Not available. Well,
that's okay. I'm going to tell everybody how to get this information for free, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
And then The Noble Vagrant. What is this? The Noble Vagrant.
Oh, that's.
What is that? What is that?
Okay, that's Stories on the Road. It's subtitled
Backstage Thrillers.
Backstage, yeah. So it's. I don't sugarcoat the streets. I'm not. I don't tell everybody. Oh, you're gonna get rich quick, and it's all fun and easy. I try and tell the truth. That way, you get both sides of the story when you go in. You know what you're getting into. So it has stories about guys who really paid some dues. Some real dudes.
So street stories.
Street stories and biography or small profiles about street performers.
Point being, this man knows things. He's here to tell us some of the things he knows. Right away, I just want to start talking about wand magic, and I'm not going to do that right away, but that's what we were talking about with the members jam. One thing led to another, led to another, led to another. You went through about 3 or 4 wand moves in a matter of minutes. But before we do that, before we get to the tricky tricks, I want to provide some value for anyone that sees the thumbnail. And the thumbnail that I posted for this session is how to be a better busker. I'm looking to get some busking advice from someone who's done it for their life, and maybe we can banter back and forth about someone who's been around it. And where do we start with this? What's the number one thing? Number one busking advice. If you want to be a busker, what's the most important thing?
I think I heard Cellini once. He kind of described
Cellini.
Yeah, Jim Cellini, the master,
the king of street performance.
That's it, the king of street.
He's gone now, but he's the king. Always will be.
It really struck a chord with me when I was starting out. And he said, "What's the number one dilemma?" And he said, "What to say to the people. When you go out there, what are you gonna say? So I guess it kind of begins there. What's going to happen first? If you're a mime, then what are you going to do? I guess like to begin with, But
as I was thinking about asking you this question, I thought how I would answer it, and the first thing that came to mind is, well, you need an act, and that's basically what you're saying. You need an act, a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah.
And you need to know what you're going to say.
You need to have something to show the people.
Yeah. And doing good magic isn't enough, right? Like,
no.
Do you think? Yeah.
I'm terrible. I'm not very good at magic.
I'm just saying.
Like, it's a different, it's another skill set.
Yeah.
Magic is a skill set that could take your entire life to try and figure out and master. And so is street performing, separate thing, different thing that you have to master to figure out. There's people that go out and street perform and don't do magic at all. They don't do any form of physical. Sometimes they just go out and do comedy, just stand-up comedy. Sometimes they sing. Sometimes they could be doing anything. Just talking, giving a monologue, and poetry readers. I mean, for crying out loud. So but it's not the art form as much as it is. Can you get them to stop, get them to stay, and get them to pay? That's the essence.
I like to leave pay out of it.
Yeah.
That's not, it pays fine if you're doing it for a living. Most won't. Doing street performing for a living is a very challenging endeavor. Doesn't mean you can't street perform though. So maybe we don't always get them to stop, get them to stay, and get them to smile.
Yeah. Finale. That was the other three is, beginning, a middle, and an end, or finale. I also like to put the ballet in that list, which is before all three, and that is it's the ballet comes from the word ballyhoo. It's where they're barking. They're trying to get come over here. Let's see this.
Hey, do you have a whistle?
I have used whistles out there. I usually carry a horn.
A horn, a sound maker, something that makes sound is of the utmost importance. Yeah. Here's a question. Let's answer a question. How about drawing a crowd at a fair like you were at, Doug? What was your biggest challenge to drawing a crowd? For me, it was lack of deodorant. Like I didn't travel with any, so the body odor was.
That's important information.
So a sound is got to be the number one for getting attention to draw a crowd. Would you agree or not? Sound?
Yeah. Well, no. Color
really, Jimmy?
Well, I've seen mimes that aren't making any noise. Usually I use squeakers or horns and stuff, but I've seen mimes.
Yeah, but in general.
Well, I would say the easiest way, and if you look at all the old pictures of magicians, all the way back to medieval times, what do you see? You see a horn or some kind of noisemaker, a drum, something like that to make a noise.
Yep.
Or sometimes those things that you talked through before amplifiers were invented, they would. Like these cheerleaders used to use, and sound.
This one's one of my favorites right here.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I've stopped everybody on the sidewalk doing that.
You do this.
Yeah,
and then you're loud. You're as loud as a breakdancer's amplifier.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I guess it's true. That's why I use an oak lawn because it makes a louder noise than a pine or a normal drumstick.
Will you show people your opener with the stick? What do you do with the stick?
Well, usually I'm banging on the ground or the table or whatever, or a street pole or something like that. And like I said, I use oak because if you hit the pavement with an oak stick, hard oak, it makes sort of a cracking sound that kind of echoes down the block. If you use any of the other woods, don't get me wrong, ironwood is great. Don't get me wrong. But that's like an oak. I'm saying if you use any of the other woods, it sounds kind of, it doesn't really make that cracking sound. And I know this sounds kind of uptight and nitpicky, but when you're out there, you notice the difference immediately with the way people turn and say.
I don't think I've ever heard you talk about the sound that a specific wood makes, but not surprised you go there.
Yeah, well, that's
what oak.
Yeah, hard oak makes a louder.
So you tap it on the ground and you say, "Watch the stick."
Well, yeah. Usually, what I do is I go. I have different approaches all the time, but one of my favorite is I go, "All right, everybody, settle down. I'm here now." Or so everybody settle down. I'm here now. All right, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. So we'll do a couple of tricks first. That way y'all see if I'm any good, if you even want to watch me. Right? But what I do like to do is I like to repeat it. I like to repeat that because there's a lot of people walking around. They didn't hear the first half of the sentence or whatever. So, and that's why another thing was, and this is not mine, this is Eric Evans. He would say, watch the stick, watch the stick, watch the stick. That's 3 times, right? And then bam, he would do something or not. Maybe if he didn't get the right, you got to wait until you just got everybody looking at the right moment so they all kind of get a look at it and see what you're about. So
it sounds to me you just make a nuisance of yourself, be a nincompoop.
I'm throwing my character out there. Like one crowd technique I would use is if I had new shoes, which I don't get very often, but when I do, I'd stick my shoe out as far as I could, and I go, new shoes. I got new shoes, and that usually people are like, "What is the idiot?" What is he? What? So they would look, and then I would try and hit them with something, either a trick or another line. Or instructions as to what's going to be happening in the next few minutes on that site.
So this is good advice too. We'll get to more street advice because I think we need to be doing some magic on this magic stream. So we're going to do a trick. I am curious about this question. Do you have jokes, Jimmy? What's your favorite joke to tell?
I don't really have jokes.
I don't think so. Look at Jimmy doesn't have jokes. He's just a clown.
Yeah. I don't have like a regular joke. Like, a guy walks into a bar joke. I don't really use any of those. I don't think I used to fall flat when I would try that. But I see other guys are really successful. I just don't think I have the right delivery.
So watch the stick. What happens with the stick? Can you show me something with the stick?
Do you want to see some magic?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So you want a joke?
I'm going to watch the monitor.
All right,
I'm going to watch the monitor.
First trick's inside the little magic purse. Every magician always carries a little magic purse. All right, we're not the manliest of men, but we're sneaky. Fact is, I love the magic wand. I do. I'm just always losing it. I never know where it goes. Sometimes it goes inside the little magic purse. But that's not the trick, remember? I said it was inside, and sure enough, there were magic coins inside the purse. So there's kind of but that's after the ballet. Usually I'll just like the beginning of the show proper. When these coins come out in my show is usually when I've already got my initial first anchor crowd, and now I've brought them in, or I'm bringing them in at this point, and that's so. But that's kind of a joke. That's I don't know, my style.
Most of your humor and your act is character driven and incident based with the magic.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain that. You explain that really well.
So I want to see one thing with this one that you were doing for the members before this stream. And I said, I'm going to hold off, see if Jimmy will do this with the one for,
That one?
Yeah, get it for the camera.
Yeah,
so
maybe I should do it.
Stand over here a little bit.
I should do it. I don't
Come
want
over here a little bit.
Okay, wait.
There's your camera.
Oh, that's my camera. Okay. All right. Yeah. And then
do that again, please.
Let me take
we're doing it that way.
Let me take the jacket
okay.
off.
Oh, just that much.
Yeah. So let me take the shirt off.
It's not that kind of show, Jim.
No, somebody told me, they said, "Oh, let's go into the jacket." Just take the jacket off. Let's go into the shirt. So it's not going into any of those. So
yeah, what's going on there, man? Is that something you want to talk about at all?
What it is? Do you want me to show it, or?
Yeah, I would love you to show. Do you mind? I mean,
no. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I don't know where these angles are going. Well, I'll just try it. So sometimes I put it on my chest like that.
Okay.
Or sometimes I'll just hold it in the rook of my thumb.
Okay.
Depending on the situation, and then I'm doing that. See, and then I just do that. It's really that easy, It's just that. I don't know if. There you go. Okay, so it's this. So the people on the side are like, "What is he doing?" And the people in the middle are going, "That's not right." So,
but I've seen you.
How does he do it? Why does he do it?
You'll like. This is the kind.
How does he do it? Wait, I'm bad angle. So,
but when you're on the street and you got someone passing by, you're handling your wand and you hit them with this. This is something.
I'm firing it like a gun at them. So if I'm hitting the person directly in front of me, so if they're right, where's that camera? Which camera is it? Okay, so there they are. They're walking right in front. Now I can do it.
Yeah.
But if they're over there or something, I can't do it. They're going to see on the angle. But this is really one of the only I just been playing with this. I saw Jeff Sheridan. You got to hear this. Jeff Sheridan does a similar thing, but with a fan. And when he does it, it's poetry. It's just the most amazing. It's incredible. It just so he folds up the fan. He does this, and then when he does that, the fan is fully opened instantaneously.
I like it.
And he's blowing it like
where,
that.
Where do we see something like that?
On one of his DVDs or something. So I shouldn't probably be talking about
Jeff Sheridan is one of the original street performers.
Much more complex move though than what I did.
This country for sure.
He's unsung hero of the street world.
Yeah, he was working the streets of New York in the 70s, inspired many magicians in his time.
For you magic history buffs out there, you got to read his book. It'll blow your mind. He had actual woodcuts and whatnot of stuff.
You're talking about, it was Street Magic? Was that the name of the book?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's much more of a history book than any other book I've read about the subject.
He's one of the best magicians, just sleight of hand performer. I'm just astounded by his skill, and his demeanor, his character, everything. He's really good. What else did you want with the wand?
I don't know. You asked me a question. Someone asked me a question about street performing. No, really, why not? You can ask me a question.
Well, I asked you all kinds of questions today about amplifiers and whatnot, and using. I learned this today from you with if you get the proper headset and it stops here, then we can use it. Because the ones before, they would go in your mouth almost. So that was. I don't know. I learned a ton of stuff.
Go grab that box right there. I'll show you all what he's talking about.
Yeah, that was a revelation.
I've had people maybe just the whole thing right there. Yeah, all of that.
This?
And the box below it.
The whole thing.
Mm-hmm. I upgraded my sound system while I was at the fair in Shreveport, opting to go with something a little more sleek. So this is a belt pack model that I use and recommend. It sounds great. It's a good value option. This is the Samsung USB model, so it plugs in. It works with anything USB. You could use it with a phone, a computer. The amp I'm using, a Samsung amp, also has a USB input, and it worked great for that. But I opted to switch to this model, which is the Airline 99M. The transmitter is on the headset itself, and then the receiver is separate, and this attaches to the amp. So what we're talking about is the little mouthpiece right here, and it's just it's a great microphone solution for someone that doesn't want wires and belt packs and wants optimal sound. So yeah, that's good. That wasn't a question. I don't know. What would a beginner ask? Give me a beginner's question. I'm trying to help people here, Jimmy.
Okay. All right. How long should a close-up sidewalk show be? How long should that be? How long can it be? Can you go really long? Just a legitimate question.
No, it's a great question.
Can you do it for how long? Can you for instance, could you do an hour-long sidewalk show? Could you do, or is it limited to, or is the best show only 3 or 5 minutes, or what is it? What would you suggest?
So it can be anything. I think 8 to 12 minutes is what you want for a sidewalk show. I've seen guys do 20, 25, and that's certainly viable. But for me, if I can stop a crowd of 10 to 20 people, do 10 solid minutes of magic and interact with them on a personal level so that they're bonding with me, I think that's as good as a 50 to 100 person crowd. And I can rotate this crowd 5 times an hour versus 2. So that's my answer. 8 to 12 minutes, 10 to 20 people, 4 to 5 times an hour. What do you think about that number?
Yeah, I think it's got to be gospel. I've watched you do sidewalk. You're very, very, very good at close up, and carry a very good close up show, better than mine. I think I shine a little bit better when I go into a parlor act, even though I do a short parlor act. I do, but with the close up, it could get. I always felt like that. It's always like, am I doing it too long? Am I doing it not long enough or whatever? And also I had another question that's on that question. is let's say you were just going to do one routine, like let's say you were going to do a coin routine or just a card routine, and that was going to be your sidewalk stroke. So I don't know what that would be, like 3-5 minutes, something like that.
Mhm.
What would you what do you do about that uncomfortable feeling when you do such a short set with hatting them? I mean, what's the justification, or I mean, how do you put a show together with that little of material in that small amount of time? And there's guys that do it.
Yeah, I don't.
There's guys do
you
it
know,
great. You know,
I don't think that it needs to be quantified. The only one that might feel awkward to is the performer who knows that there is a time length that it should be. It could be anything you want out there. You know,
yeah,
you can one trick sandy them.
that's what I was thinking.
And people could give you $20 for that happily if you do your job well. I will often end my sets early if I feel that we have peaked and that even my effect, which is going to play stronger, would not provide a better moment for this experience. You know, maybe my crowd's not building. Maybe I only have 3 people for my first 2 routines, and another 5 minutes isn't going to change any of our lives. So, especially if I got a strong finish, you know, it might be silk, vanish, invisible deck. There's the hat. Thank you. You know, it's
that's kind of a good show, because it was a legitimate question, because I was thinking about
you're right, it's a good show.
Look at I was going to carry this as my rig. So I have a stick, I have 3 coins, and if I wanted to really get crazy, I pull out the finale ball or something. But I just wanted
the big prop.
Yeah, the big prop, right? but I wanted to just be able to carry the purse and see if I could just do like a 3 to 5 minute one trick sandy kind of, you know, but so I just wanted to hear your.
I think in some cities, especially ones like New Orleans, where people are having their attention pulled 100 different ways in a 1 hour time span, it's to your advantage to work short sets. So you don't have, you don't have to fight for their attention for 20 minutes. I'm looking. What?
I wanted to talk about a prop.
Yeah, what prop?
Okay, so I want to talk about this.
Okay, good.
I on my Substack.
Say that again. On your what?
At my jimmytalksalot.substack.com.
Yeah.
I have a newsletter, and it's a blog and a site and videos and articles and all kinds of stuff.
1 second. Let me present. Just before he gets into this, let's give Jimmy a little. This is what he's talking about. Jimmy Talksalot. Substack.com, and it's here that you can go learn about
street performing. That's just all.
This is what I was saying about to learn with spectacle. You could get much of this information from this website. How do street performers build crowds? How to get a close-up show started. Color, sound, movement, general discussions, magic and equipment. A little bit about beanbags.
Well, that's right where I was going.
Okay. So anyway, this is Jimmy's Substack. Is this free?
Yeah, it's free. It's free. So you just put your email in the box, subscribe, and it's free. It comes right in your email. Or you can go on the site and there's so many articles there now. You could spend quite a few hours, I guess, just reading articles on street performing. I'm going to be also putting some guest articles on there from other street performers who have written articles or written me things, and I'm going to post them up, but I talked in one of my recent articles, I talked about using bean bags on the street instead of using, let's say, the balls that come with the cups and balls, or using, or if you have two in the pocket, or 2 in the hand, 1 in the pocket, or using, instead of using little round balls, or even monkey fists, which monkey fists are great. I love them. I just love them.
Which are
oh yeah, we should probably show them. But even with a monkey fist, it will roll. The wind can blow it off the table. But if you're using a little bean bag, that thing ain't going anywhere, right? So monkey fists are awesome though. I mean, if you want to do some handling with cups or balls, or with 2 in the hand, 1 in the pocket, those things they're just butter. You're just gonna love those. But like I said, when you're working out in the street and the wind is blowing, or the table is at an arc and it's rolling, or if you're handing them to people and they drop and they roll away or down into the gutter or whatever, you just don't have any. It's more difficult to have control over a ball that has movement. So I wrote an article about beanbags, long, extensive, different size, whatever, and you can go check. But want to talk about this. There's a little bit about this in the article, but notice it's a tennis ball that squeaks. It's a chew toy made by it's called Squeak Air, made by Conn, or Conn or something. I don't know, but that's who I get them at the pet store, and they have different sizes. They have one that's a little bit smaller, like a manip size. I think it's about. The other one's a little bit smaller than this actually, but so you have two sizes. I used the bigger one for productions. And here's the thing, here's the secret. When you bounce this, you're talking about street, you bounce this on the sidewalk. For instance, here's a solid rubber ball. Okay, it's a solid rubber ball. You bounce that on the sidewalk and it hits a pebble, it hits a crack, it shoots vertically. It's shooting, it's going down the street. This thing they're designed for tennis. When it hits a crack or it hits a pebble or something, it just usually comes right back up to where it's got that soft cloth finish on it. Also, they're the perfect size for palming. The other ones are smaller than this, so they fit real nice in the pocket, and they come in a package of 3, and you can do 2 in the hand. Whatever, you can even use these. But remember, they still are balls. If you have them on a table or something, they're going to roll, but they roll less. Roll less.
Did you talk about how you use this moment?
Hmm?
Did you talk about how you use it? Like, when does this come into play for you in your show?
Well, it can come into, it can be a production, like where, you take a coin and there it is, and then I say, wait a minute, and then there it is, or whatever. I just improv that, but you could do a change. They have different colors. So you can do a color change just the way I did with the coin, take a red ball and bounce it and it'll turn to a green ball and then squeak it. That's good misdirection. They don't care about what's palmed anymore. They're thinking, why does the thing squeak? But it bounces. Now
you're piquing my mind using sound to misdirect the audience's mindset.
I've built a circle show crowd with this ball right here.
Well, this takes us back to what was the first thing, sound.
Like that, oh, it's under my shoe. It's under my shoe,
Come into frame a little more.
You're
over there tricking for nobody.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I mean, it's hard. I'm used to a part. Can you see me?
Not used to the black mirror, Mr. Talksalot.
Well, there's no room in here. I'm used to like parlor,
It's really
anyway, so oh, it's gone. Oh no, it's under the shoe, So if you keep doing stuff like that, color, sound, and movement, things are vanishing, appearing. They're making noise. Just and they're not that bad. They're like $7 or something at the pet store, and you get a bag of 3 of them, and you can use them for other routines. Like I've done manipulate like billiard balls with them. I don't have a shell for it.
Don't you finale your 1 coin routine with this?
Yeah. So that's it's on the video.
You don't have to do that.
Okay, so it's on the video, but it's the other thing is just keep them in the product. Now you could have a few of them in there and do manipulation where they start producing more. Or change color change.
What we should do is this. We should put it together with a DVD and market this through Murphy's so Murphy's can make a lot of money. But it's good. Manip using pet toys. Oh, really?
Yeah, so they're perfect size. So I just really want, the most important thing to remember though is when you bounce it, it's not shooting off down the street. That I went through so many balls.
I love when Jimmy's going to the magic shop. He goes to Walmart and Petco.
Yeah. I go to the hardware store.
I got to go to the magic shop.
Yeah.
Going to the squeaky toy aisle.
Well, I use a lot of pet toys, not just these balls, but because the pet toys are made to be so tough, especially dog toys. They can handle the street. Anyway, I was just excited about that. I wanted to tell everybody. It just was a breakthrough and it make their life easier when they're out there.
I look forward to filming you this weekend. Loop ball them. Holy cow, I don't just have to point at the comment. This is a great idea. Holy cow. Dave, you get brownie points.
Yes, sir. It'd be easy because it's a tennis ball. You could take the needle and thread and just go in. You don't have to, how they do with the resin balls and they have to drill holes and then re-resin them and paint them, and you don't have to do that. You just needle and thread.
We could all watch Cellini talk about this on Real Magic Magazine. Loop balls. Whee! All right, guys. Did I miss some questions that we could answer for some of you? And if you have questions, this is a good time to re-ask them if I have missed them. This is the question I always get. Let me ask Jimmy, what's the weirdest you've ever experienced?
And I saw that question.
Yeah, we all have that. I'm going to not make you answer that. I know. How about, here's the one they all want to know. What's the worst thing that's ever gone wrong in a magic show? You know,
It makes me sick even thinking about it.
Do you have a good answer
yeah,
for this?
I've got it in my head. It was horrible.
What is it?
What is it?
You look genuinely scared here. What's the worst thing that ever happened to Jimmy Talksalot?
This is why I stopped just taking magic tricks out there willy-nilly, and I started doing I would always do the same tricks that were tried and true. Okay, I don't know if y'all are familiar with the ring on a spring. Do you know what that is? Where
yes.
Okay, you twist it, it comes off. Okay, you have a ring and you have a little spring, and you put the spring or put the ring on. You thread it onto on there, and then you get and then you take it off, and then you put it back on, and then you say, "Here, you do it," and then they can't take it off, right? And you say, "Well, give it back," and it goes right off for you. And it goes right back on. Here, you do it, and they can't do it. This happens, over and over. But so what I would usually do with it, I'd get some kids, and I would try and get the big brother couldn't take it off, but the little sister or the little brother could, because you can make it to where anybody can take it off, right? And then when the big brother couldn't take it off, I said, "What's wrong? Your little brother got it. What's your problem? What's wrong with you?" One day I did it. I said, "What's your problem? What's wrong with you?" And I looked down, and the kid didn't have any fingers.
Oh, no.
Yeah, now you see why I felt sick, right?
Oh, no.
There's no recovery. It was horrible. So I treated that kid the best I could throughout that whole show, So,
that's a bad one.
Right? That was years and years and years ago, and it scarred me, and I've devoted my life to never letting anything like that ever happen again.
Boy, here's a great question from a kindred spirit. Aaron, what's happening? I need this information after being in that sunshine of Shreveport. Jimmy, what do you do to survive the heat? It gets so hot out there. Do you have any sweat control tips?
Okay, so here's what I do. Okay, yeah, this has been my whole existence being a Southern worker. So I hate, let me just tell you, I hate with a passion wearing shorts. I cannot stand it. I don't like the way I look. I feel humiliated. I could go on and on in hours why I don't like shorts. But when it's 100 degrees or more, 104, 105, 110, with 100% humidity, I will pass out in a suit. If it's a humid climate. If it's up there in Colorado or in the
So what do we do? What do we do?
All right, well, let's start out here. Okay, so I've got a hat. You can actually see, but remember, I have to do a lot of tricks out of my hat, and I need it to be opaque so they can't see what's coming in or out or what's in there. So I've gotten a hat that's the lightest straw hat I can, that conceals the most, but still breathes. Right. The only cloth on this is the band. Right. Everything else is just straw. There's your first thing, and this thing is more light than any other straw hat that I know of. Right. So
I'm a fan of that style as well.
Yeah.
A vented hat. If you're wearing a hat, vented hat.
I wear shorts. I wear flip flops, and I do not wear. Generally, I do not wear these or t-shirts. They are very hot. Okay. Contrary to popular belief, a t-shirt is very insulating. So what I usually wear is a very thin cotton short sleeve shirt, dress shirt, right? And I keep it unbuttoned, even though I hate looking like that. I hate having my shirt unbuttoned. I hate wearing shorts, and I don't like flip-flops. So, but I wear it, but I try and get the nicest possible outfit that I can. And I just suffer through it. And that's why I prefer to go up north where it's cooler, where I don't have to wear things like that during the summer.
One thing that you do is you travel, you are prepared to change your clothing throughout the day.
Yeah.
You're ready.
I layer up. Yeah.
Or so you'll take clothes off, add them as needed. Where do you get your hats, Jim?
Okay, this was I originally got this particular one. I've always worn some sort of hat like this, but this one here.
Can't you just say hats.com?
No, it's I don't know where it is. I got it. I got it online, but originally I got it at the Market Square in San Antonio. There was a little shop in there. They don't carry it anymore, so I had to track it down.
Hats.com. That's the answer.
Yeah. What you need is a picture of that hat.
Yeah.
Go look it up. Right?
I use the Bailey brand.
It says that it's a Milani, Milani, designed in Italy, extra large for this big head.
That's going to barely help, but if you want it bad enough, maybe that okay, sorry, I tried to help.
Yeah.
Look, we had this question just so you know what a loop ball is. It's basically this.
Right.
Look, I made one out of this sponge in a rubber band. Now, it's not this, but imagine this was
that's not going to
negative Nancy over there. So it loops, and this way you don't have to pull them, and maybe you're showing something, and as you dump it into the hat, the loop, which should be smaller than this, and Jimmy's right, this isn't working.
What if it was an invisible thread?
Yes. Yes, it should not be. It should be a fishing line.
You're right, fishing line.
A filament line. And so you might produce the ball in this fashion and then dump it into your receptacle. And this is...
And preferably a heavier ball than a sponge ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, generally wood. That's a loop ball. Look up Cellini using a loop ball.
Oh, man.
Yeah, this is who you want to see use it with a hat. It's not true, Lance. Someone's doing this gig already. They're booking this show in Australia. Naked Magicians is a thing.
Yeah. You're talking about me?
What do you do for bathroom breaks? Didn't you see the Burt Wonderstone? We hold it for as long as possible.
This is a very important one. I should probably ask.
Jimmy's got 10 minutes. He's got 10 minutes of advice on the bathroom. We're going to assume.
I'm old. I drink a lot of black tea and milk, right? So English tea, I drink that all day long. So yeah, when I set up on a pitch, I've already scoped out 3 or 4 not one bathroom, 3 or 4 bathrooms. And I'm a connoisseur. I find the nicest ones, like so stall doors that go all the way to the floor, things like that, So, but yeah, bathrooms are very important. I'd also say a good little cafe is important. You want to be able to dip in there, use their bathroom, get a cup of coffee or whatever you're doing. It's a nice place to hang out.
We've lost all the good ones in New Orleans.
Yeah.
There's no cool coffee shops left anymore. Dang it.
Bathroom question. That was a good question. I'm telling you.
Y'all, we're wrapping this up in about 7 minutes. If you have more questions, now's the time to get them in. I wanted you to do something with the coin. You were doing some weird flourish. Can you do that flourish you were doing earlier?
Yeah, this thing here.
Wait, do that again. Bring that up a little bit for this.
Yeah, I like to finish it with that.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Uno más, por favor.
Yeah. So when I first saw it, I couldn't find any footage of it.
Oh, that's so cool.
I couldn't find any footage, so I didn't know if it looked any good. And so I'm showing my whole family, does this look like a magic trick? But then I went on YouTube after a few days. I found some guy doing it, but he did it a million times better. The coin would be going around here and up here. It looks like it's magnetic or levitating.
It's akin to that.
I don't know what it is.
Cardini billiard ball flourish.
That's what I was thinking, because I do that little flourish with the ball, and I thought,
do you do it?
Yeah, not well, but I do it. I mean, I've practiced it. Let's see if I. Freaking camera.
Come on over. Life's hard in the first worlds.
Close. Yeah, I wasn't very good, but I'm nervous now.
Yeah.
This is one of those.
Yeah, I get
you got to
it.
be a master to do these things,
Well, plus, I mean, those day one of ever holding those objects.
There it goes, I guess. Yeah, I don't know, but I know. Yeah, that's why I don't do that in the show. I'm not really good at it.
I don't need. I've had those for 6 months. I still haven't performed them yet.
Well, anyway, so that's the. It's something in the show. I would go, "You're getting sleepy."
And what was that jumping coin bit?
Oh yeah, I wanted to explain that. Like I got this from what is that? The Smith. What's the guy's name?
The Smith?
No, what's the guy's first name? It's he's Japanese, I think, and he does coin.
Oh, Ponta the Smith.
Ponta the Smith.
Ponta the Smith.
I saw him do that,
right.
and I was like, I need that. You know, generally I don't really take too much stuff from videos or whatever. You know, a book guy, but that I was thinking, because here's what I would do. I was doing this trick, you know, the muscle pass, and I would always go, okay, some people weren't watching, let's do it again. And I didn't want to do the same method. Well, I found out that what I would do is I would do the finger pass first, right? And then if anybody thinks they know how it works, I would go to the muscle pass. If they think it's done with the fingers, I would go to the muscle pass. But at first I was doing it backwards, and people were, you know, catching.
Let's clarify that while Danny Goldsmith does have a great fingertip muscle pass, this is not that. This is a secret action that is it coming from this grip, Jim?
Yeah, I'm here, and it's the thumb that does the action. It's the thumb. Everybody thinks it's the fingers that do the action at first. When they're magicians trying to learn, he thinks, oh, he's doing it to fingers or something. It's not. It's the thumb. It's the thumb pulls back, and the fingers, if you've done it right, which I don't do it very well, but if you've done it right, those fingers should not be moving. The thumb moves behind the hand, and that's what gives it the illusion.
He uses it as a secret transfer.
Yeah,
of the
it was
core.
originally just like the muscle pass. It was not an effect.
It was not an open flourish.
It wasn't supposed to be seen at all.
Right.
Yeah, just like the muscle pass wasn't.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it travels down the length of his arm as though he's putting the coin here, and then he muscle passes it over to this hand. But he does that with the elegance of Ponta the Smith.
Ponta the Smith. Wow. One of my I could just watch his videos all day long.
Yeah,
just watch it all.
Beautiful.
Day. Good music, good moves, everything, you know, and a great way to teach somebody to do coin magic.
Remind me, there's a silver dollar down there. Not that I forget. Holy cow! We have international viewers from Liechtenstein. Someone who met you in St.
Yeah. Oh, Albie. I know him. Yeah, I know Albie. Hey. Yeah, you're a genius, sir. I love your magic, man. Very, 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 very good.
Any plans of going back to the old country and sharing your art with the Europeans again?
Oh, I miss Europe. Yeah. Much happier in Europe than America a lot of times. Yeah. It's I'm very happy in New Orleans. It's not like Europe, right? So when I go to Europe, I was like, oh, this is awesome. I loved everything. I especially loved Germany. I was surprised how much I loved it. I knew I'd like it. I just didn't know I'd love it that much. It was really wonderful there. People are just really, really great people. Great people, great performers. Very interested in doing the very best work. And they're so kind and honest and genuine people. I just love them. I just love working there, and the people you're working for, you know.
What about Philly?
Philly is okay. Let's go on the polar opposite.
I was in Philly.
I work Philly all the, you know.
It's a challenge there, right?
Yeah. But you got to be in Philly mindset in order to enjoy Philly. You know, Philly is like that's a. Yeah, that's
I worked it. It was hard. You know, it was not a gimme town.
Well, the thing about Philly is that if not just magic, but people in general, they either are your best friend or your worst enemy. They don't really like the stuff in the middle. And also, if you're good, they're gonna let you know. If you're bad, they're gonna let you know that too. So they're very direct, but they're very loyal. If they're your friends, boy, they're a friend. And if they're a fan of your work, if they're in an audience and they think you're good, that's it. They're loyal, right? So
makes sense.
But if not,
do you think like
it's very brutal?
I think street performing pitches are regionally vibed. You know, like you come to New Orleans, there's a vibe.
Yeah.
You go to Vegas, there's the Vegas vibe. You go to Philly, there's the Philly vibe. And sometimes it takes a while to get accustomed to the vibe to make your work for the area. Right?
Yeah, I think it's a sign of a true street performer if they can remain fluid like that and adjust their show to fit into that new culture that they're just rolling.
So when you come to New Orleans, the first thing you want to do before street performing is go bang down a couple hurricanes. Get nice and soused before you head out to the pitch. Then you'll be in the vibe.
You want to assimilate. Acclimate to the climate, you know, like.
Yeah, you're right.
Was that right? Was that proper?
Yeah, with your mama and
Using all them big words like that Latin stuff.
All right, y'all. Look, we've done 45 minutes. We also did an hour before this, hanging out with the members, doing tricks and talking stuff. If you haven't joined the membership, consider it. It makes a difference in my YouTube life. And we thank you for that. Right, Jim? I mean, you're here. And that's making a difference.
Yeah, this was so fun. Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap up and go probably turn our attention to Manos and get some shrimp po' boys.
Oh, man.
I was going to make a
I've
roast
been in Texas
tonight.
so long, I'm missing the over stuff. Let's go get it.
Yeah, we're going to get some shrimp po' boys. We're going to eat where the saints eat
Shrimp
tonight.
boy.
It's been a pleasure hanging with y'all. I thank you for your time, your attention, your energy. I will have the camera on this man in the French Quarter this weekend. Maybe we'll get some shorts on the platform, maybe something longer. Who knows? We'll find out together.
I thought you were trying to get people to watch this.
Well, listen how I do that. Lastly, but certainly not least, let me mention that next week in this time slot, Tom Britton.
Yeah, that'll get him on here.
Tom Britton has been a lifelong friend of mine as well. We go back over 20 years. And in this course of time, I watched Tom Britton develop his very unique sideshow theater style spectacular into a touring show. He took this show on the road into small theaters across the country. And he's going to explain to us exactly how he did that. He's going to do it next week live on YouTube. I talked to Tom live in the studio last week, and we're in for a treat. I can't wait to learn this process. I hope you're as excited as I am about that, and we'll do it all next week at 4 p.m. Please join us. Hey, this is going to be me thanking my good friend Jimmy Talksalot as we roll out of here to get some Manos, and we'll see you all on the flip side. It's going to be ciao for now. Bye.